I'd like to thank everybody for joining me today. Today, I want to just go through review and buy sell agreements. It's the first of the year. It's a good time to go back through and see are we are we taking care of our clients and their businesses the way they should? And if you think about a buy sell agreement, it's helping our clients, prepare for that transition into that's going to happen in the future. And are they ready for this to happen? If you think about business transition, 100% of closely held business owners will exit their business. And 50% of transitions are going to be involuntary or forced exits. So it's one where we have a big market here and we have an opportunity to help our clients because for a lot of our closely held business clients, their business is a significant asset in their estate and as part of their planning overall. So it's a good opportunity to help them make sure that they're getting it ready. So I like to ask the question, are you ready for the transition of your business? Now, stop and think about that. I'm not asking a client, are you ready to retire? But are you ready for the transition of your business? Are you, when you transition it to other partners, are you going to transition and let that ownership go to your kids? Are you ready to take a step back in your business? All of these questions come up because we're asking the question, are you ready? And what is that going to look like? So the next question was, when's the last time that you reviewed your buy sell agreement? Now get ready for the answers. One of the answers may be, I don't know what you're talking about. And it's an opportunity to help them understand how a buy sell agreement can help their business and what it does for them. But ask them whenever you reviewed that buy sell agreement so that we can make sure it's appropriate for your goals and objectives as of today. I like to look at a buy sell agreement and understand what are the unplanned exits. So if you look at there's the 5 Ds: death, disability, divorce, disagreement, and distress. Think about these. These are all situations where it's a highly emotional. And if we have a partner that dies, it's a bad time for the company, it's a bad time for the families, but we have to be ready for what that transition is going to look like. And more importantly, we need to make sure it fits our clients' objectives. Do they want to sell this to their partner? Do they want to sell it to their key employees? Do they want to do an ESOP? Do they want to just sell to the third party for the best price they can get? Move it to their kids as a family transition. All of these, if you look at these, are things that need to be addressed. Death and disability. You know, those are major events that need to be handled. A lot of times we focus on, well, it's the older partner that's going to die, or it's the older partner that's going to become disabled. Don't get in such a rut that we're not looking at this planning very holistic to make sure we've addressed every single thing that can happen. The disagreement, I've seen this, work well. I've seen it also when two partners are in a 50-50 S corporation and one of the partners will not make a decision. Well, in corporate law, if you don't have a majority vote, or in some cases a unanimous vote, then nothing happens. You can't make changes to your business because you're not on the same page with your partner. And when that happens, what are we going to do? Can't walk away, can't move forward, and so we're stuck. We're stuck in a rut that we don't want to be in. So addressing these five Ds of the unplanned business exit are a big part of the buy sell agreement. Now, when you review the buy sell agreement, number one, we're going to look at the structure. Is this a redemption agreement? Is it a cross purchase agreement or some kind of a hybrid agreement? Those are the three types of structures that we're going to look at. And each one has a purpose. If I have two owners and it's a cross purchase agreement, that means owner A dies, owner B buys them out. In a redemption agreement, If owner A dies, the entity, the company, buys their interest out. And in a hybrid agreement, it will typically say, well, option A is it's a cross purchase agreement. And then B, if option A is not elected, B is a mandatory buyout by the company. We can make this look and feel any which way our clients want it, but we want to make sure that we protect the business. We protect the value of the business. And so when we're doing this planning, we want to structure the agreement so it makes sense for our clients. Number two is addressing the triggers. I showed the other ones on the previous page, death, disability, divorce, disagreement, and distress. Those are some of our triggers. The other ones that we might have: loss of a license, inability to continue working with certain clients, anything that you want. What is it that we need to protect in your business? If I'm doing all of the sweat equity in the business and my partner's the money person, well, if the money person walks away with the checkbook, now we got a problem. And if I'm doing all the day-to-day operations, the sweat equity part of this business, well, what happens if I want to walk away? You know, Everything's important in this company. So we need to look and really talk to our clients. What kind of triggers do we want? Can you imagine being in a medical partnership? Everybody's a doctor, and all of a sudden one of the doctors loses their license. Well, what does that mean to the company? Well, it means that that person can no longer bring revenue to the company. Is that important? Most likely, and needs to be addressed. Next, and I think this is one that a lot of clients just overlook: what is the value? And I see a lot of professionals, a lot of attorneys, when they draft these agreements, they put the default in that if shareholder A dies, then shareholder A's family will get and will hire the appraiser. The remaining shareholder will hire an appraiser, and those two appraisers are going to hire a third appraiser so we don't have a deadlock. Well, think about that. All we've done is kick the can down the road. Now, when it happens, instead of having one appraiser that we like and agree and can value our business, we end up paying for three of them to do the exact same thing. I like where default is in most buy sell agreements is to reset the value every year. Well, we have to work with our clients and make sure they understand how to set the value. But more importantly, what I like is, can we create a formula? Now that if we have a formula, whenever a transition happens, we just have to open up the formula, fill in the blanks, and magically there's our answer. That's the value of the company at that date and time. So if we can create that easier flow for our clients, instead of, hey, at the worst time, the high emotional times, we're all out buying, retaining appraisers because we didn't take the time to do it right up front. Finally, how do we pay for it? And think about this: if we come in and say, I'm one of your partners, and in that situation I die, and my value of the company is $1 million. What does my family expect? A payout of $1 million. Now, does my family care if that comes from life insurance, or do they care if that comes from cash flow of the business or from the after-tax cash flow of my living partner? No, they're going to get paid, and they need to get paid to make sure this contract is effective. But for the person writing the check, well, if it was life insurance, we've used leverage dollars to create this payment, or disability dollars to create the payment. All of these things, can we leverage our money to make that payment easier at that time where it's triggered? And so a default is, well, you're going to owe me an installment payment. Those installment payments are not just write me $1 million check, but you have to earn the money, pay the tax, then write the check. So can we leverage our money, create better ways to pay for this so that we're not using after-tax dollars that are crushing the remaining partner in the business. So as you look at it, it's beginning of the year. It's a great time to step up and do these reviews. And when we do, our clients are going to be better off for it. So I appreciate everybody being on. If you have questions, reach out. If not, we'll go through more next week. Thank you.